Hi, this is Rob Leo, and in this tutorial, we're going to take a look at using Google Forms to create some review activities for students as the end of the year approaches. I've got some questions set up already. You want to notice that these are Google Forms with questions that are short answer. And we're going to use, I think it's called the data validation tool. Let's take a look at how it works. So, author a declaration of independence. If I was to edit this, first off, I want to make it a required question. Notice it is a short answer question. And in the space, I would expect the students to put Thomas Jefferson. So with the dots, I'm going to select response validation. And since I'm not looking for a number, I'm going to switch this to text. And I want the text to contain specific information. You can have it contain stuff or not contain stuff, or you can make it into a URL or an email address. We're going to go with contains. And I want to identify what the text should say. In other words, I'm making the answer key. If the student gets it incorrectly, I'm going to say, try again. And I'm going to make this a required question. I also want to put some help. I want to tell the students to use first name and last name. So in my description, I'm going to say include first and last name. The same thing for landed in the Americas in 1492. If I edit this, again, notice it's short answer. We're going to turn it into a required question. For our description, we're going to say last name only. See who's paying attention. And then in the response validation, again, we're going to switch this to text. We're going to make it contain Columbus. I'm not going to include something here just so you can see what happens when you don't include error text. And then the last one, I need to solve for x. Bear with me just one sec. I'm going to actually solve the equation. I did not make an answer, so hold on. All right, using scrap paper, I figured out x equals 8. And again, we're going to make this required. It's short answer. Since this is a number, our response validation is not greater than or equal to. We want it to be equal to 8. And we're going to say try again if they get it wrong. For my description, I'm going to say use scrap paper. You solve. We'll make them turn into scrap paper. It's up to you if you want to do that step or not. So we've got 3 questions. We've made them all required. They're all short answer questions, and we have put in descriptions as well as response validation. Let's take a look at what the students would see. I'm going to use the eyeball. And again, I did not turn this into a quiz, so it's just simply a review activity for the students. They can't submit it until they get the correct answer. That's the key here. They have to keep trying until they figure out what the correct answer is going to be. And if you choose to make, I know the other week I blogged about those mystery boxes. You could use breakout EDU techniques to create your own Google Forms so that your response validation must include either a numeric code or a string of characters, like an alphabetical lock, so to speak. And you can't turn it in until you get it right. So author of Declaration of Independence, use first and last name. I'm going to misspell it on purpose. And when I move on to the next question, it's going to tell me, oh, try again. If I spell it correctly and I move on to the next question, you notice you don't get any error message, so you know you got it right. Land in the Americas, 1492. This is a required question. I'm going to say Christopher Columbus. And I'm going to move on to the next question. Because we said it just contains Columbus, it's still good. So notice, even if the student does screw up, so long as they have the word Columbus in there, they should be good to go. And this one, we already said it's going to be 8. If I tried to type in 4, again, I'm not going to be able to solve it. It tells me to try again. But if I do put in the correct answer and navigate away, I'm all set. And when I submit this, I will have been successful. Let's just talk about what that might look like on the back end of things. Notice one response has been completed. As far as the form setup, if we look at the gears, for example, the form settings, if we want, we can collect email addresses. We can restrict this to West Genesee users only. We can limit the students to one response. There is really only going to be one response since they'll have to get everything correct. So I'm going to skip that step. We don't want them to edit after they submit because, again, they won't be able to submit it until they have all the correct answers. So again, great review activity. The students can find out the information on their own and know if they got it right instantly because it won't unlock or won't let them proceed or turn their form in unless they have it all correct. Again, this is how you would create a breakout EDU activity. You could have a string of puzzles and then the answer key. You can use the response validation function on each of the questions to make sure that the students have submitted the correct answer. Thanks for listening and I hope you found this useful.